And I forgot to turn my microphone on. Great. So, let's go over that one again. April 25th, 26th is full. I forgot to turn my microphone on. And I got feedback somewhere.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize my sound was on. I thought it was on.
Yeah.
I could have gave you some input on the mic there.
Oops. Oh, well. Oops. So, 25th, 26th is full. We're going to break that into 2 groups, 7 or less each day. May 3rd, we got a class coming up. It's going to be on the regular schedule, regular program. May 9th and 10th is going to be defensive pistol. That's up on the website. 16th is going to be another concealed carry class. And then the 30th is going to be basic rifle. 31st is going to be rifle instructor. And I got a notification I got to check here for whatever reason. Looks like we're all good there. So, awesome. What else did I miss here from forgetting to turn my microphone on?
Are we on YouTube?
What's that?
Are we on YouTube?
We should be on YouTube.
Okay.
Let me, I can check that.
Yeah, we're good. I'm on there now.
We are on YouTube. All right. So, it gets a little screwed up when you get everything all jumbled around trying to do stuff different, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And we got Chuck Slavaw. Yeah, appreciate that, buddy. Days of the week along with the dates. Okay, so May 3rd is going to be a Sunday. 9th and 10th is Saturday and Sunday for defensive pistol. 16th is a Saturday for concealed carry. May 30th is a Saturday for your basic rifle and carbine, and Sunday the 31st for your instructor portion of that. So, I guess we come on to our carry tip, shooting tip, ammunition conservation, maybe 22 long rifle, working on that. There seems to be some 22 long rifle that's still available. So, if you have a 22 pistol that's pretty close to your regular carry pistol, then you may want to switch over to that, especially if you're a 9mm shooter. I have a 9, a 40, and a 45, so I got my bases covered as far as that goes. 45 and 380 is still pretty readily available. Outside of some jacketed hollow points, we're seeing some supply issues with that, although I did get an email today from one of our suppliers that said they got 430 boxes of law enforcement bonded in 45 in for SIG V crowns, so we might get some of that in. 50 count boxes are pretty good. Your carry tips, looks like everybody should be kind of staying home or is staying home. Everybody just needs to remember the bad guys are not staying home, so keep a watchful eye out for that. A couple news articles where some things are still going on, especially in the major metropolitan areas where criminals are still very much active, and you want to keep your head on a swivel and make sure that you haven't got somebody following you. It's going to be a lot easier now with a smaller crowd. So if you got to go out and move around in public, make sure you get a smaller crowd, or make sure you pay attention to your surroundings and, stay safe. Keep your 6-foot distance. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what I did.
You,
it.
It looked like you were an episode of Ghost Hunters there for a second.
I thought that was full screen and ended up being
night vision.
I guess. Or strobe party scene, I guess.
Right? Yeah. So, wow. Must be just not the night for this tonight. Looks like Dad's link doesn't work, and you're having problems with your computer, and my internet's slow, so. Do it again, he says. Do it again. I think we're going to skip that. You're going to give me Tourette's.
Tourette's or a seizure.
Yeah, I don't know. It might fall on my chair. Thanks for joining the madness. All right.
Well, so, last minute switch up though.
What's that?
It's not too terrible for a last minute switch up.
No, it certainly could be worse. Although one of my pets has not come through here and knocked the camera or the light over yet, so it could get worse here pretty shortly.
I threw everything outside and shut the door.
Oh yeah, everything, people included. My kid was crawling across the floor here a minute ago, so I might chuck her out the front. Front door's right here, so if you see her go flying, then you know.
Well, the window behind you would be a little more exciting.
Yeah, but I had to put cardboard over that because the sun's coming in, screwing the camera up.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, what do we got? Let's, yeah, so Rhonda's here. We're going to try and do this here real quick. And let's see if we can call them. Easy on the word Chuck. Yeah. I have to send a text here. Anyway, that didn't work either. I have no idea. So, we'll have to get her. We'll have to test that at a later date. Well, let's get onto our video here. Bring this up. I'm gonna shrink me a little bit here. That might work. So, little backstory behind this. People are fighting over a parking spot. Fella does some shooting and is not justified in his shooting. And we're going to see that here as things progress. These folks here are coming from this car. And you can see this fella right here is kind of upset with the woman that's still in the car that they're parked in a handicapped parking zone. And here comes the husband and shoves him to the ground. Okay, now here's the point that we need to make. The fella that does the shoving, he has no weapons. He's not presented anything up to the shove that would lead us to believe that this is a deadly force encounter. This is a force encounter, but not a deadly force encounter. We have to remember bumps and bruises don't really rise to that level. What we're going to see here is this fella on the ground pull his firearm and shoot the guy one time, and he runs off. What I want everybody to look at here, right in this section here, is he shoves him, and then immediately he doesn't move in any closer. He doesn't make any more aggressive actions toward this fella. And judging from the backstory, it looks like what happened is this fella that's on the ground here pointing the firearm at this guy was pretty aggressive with this man's wife and child that were in the car. So did he have rights to shove him to the ground? Probably not. But this is a bad situation that we're looking at this kind of stuff so that everybody can learn from it and not end up in this situation. This fella right here in this particular video, he did not make it. This guy is up on charges for voluntary manslaughter. So it ended badly for both parties involved in that particular defensive encounter. This guy here, we don't know who he is, but he decided he had business in the next county and hightailed it out of there immediately.
That's definitely in his best interest.
Yep.
As far as that guy shoving him to the ground, if he's just standing there hollering, just get in the car and leave. Let him throw his fit.
Yep. I mean, I get the desire to protect your wife and kid, and you had no idea what if the situation was going to escalate at all, especially with his wife and children or child in that car, or just outside of the car. We can't really see that from the video. I mean, I understand that, but it should have been a verbal encounter and then been done with right from the beginning.
Yeah, screaming match, go their separate ways.
Yep. And you know, that's really what we got to understand is that, you know, yes, this guy took the brunt of it to begin with, but he presented no weapon. He backed off as soon as he hit the ground. Maybe he may have been justified in drawing his firearm if he is, you know, could be deemed that a shove to the ground is could have been fatal for him, but that's wades into the how good is your lawyer arena, and you know, risk avoidance is the key, and it's just a whole bad situation to begin with. The other thing that we have to go back to is we cannot be the aggressor in the confrontation, and this fella here was absolutely the first aggressor in the entire thing. So that removed his ability to use really any force in defense of himself once he started being the aggressor in that particular situation. So stay out of trouble. Don't be the first aggressor. Use only the required force to stop the threat. This is obviously, we're going to see if this is going to be deemed excessive force or if he's going to beat this charge. So once again, if we can, you know, find out more on this case, maybe we will. But like most things, most of the time this stuff goes away and we don't really get to see anything more about it.
That's one thing that's always drove me nuts with the media is you'll hear the story of what happened, but you never hear the ending.
Yeah. Yeah, Chuck says, don't start it and be smart about how you end it. Absolutely, 100%. And to extrapolate on that, we like to say, if the gun's going to go in the holster, the attitude needs to go in the safe.
Absolutely.
Not to say that you need to be a victim. Absolutely, that's not the case. But you need to take a step back and turn the computer on before you turn that trigger finger on.
You know, and I've seen those arguments before. I mean, not to that extent, but people parking in handicapped that may or may not be handicapped, or parking in veteran spots that may or may not be a vet. What are you honestly going to do about it? You're going to go and yell, and they're just going to ignore you. If you really have an issue with it, just call an officer.
Yeah.
If they're free, they'll come deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have no idea what the consequence for parking in a space that you shouldn't be parking in. Like, what's the legal consequence? Do they tow your car, or what do they do?
Judging from the signs I've seen in parking lots, it's up to a $500 fine.
So it's a measly consequence. Right? And it's hard to do this when you're replying to comments also.
Yeah, I'm getting them long after you. I've got a delay on my own.
Yeah. Got two phones beeping and all kinds of stuff. So we appreciate everybody who's joining in, by the way. Thanks for stopping by. Probably could have found something better to do with your evening, but you're here listening to us ramble on. So we got through our self-defense video. Let's take a look at some news here. If we can get this up without quelling the whole shooting match. This one, Corey, you might know something about this one. A contractor finds a badly decomposed body near an oil well in Stark County.
I did hear something about this. This is an old Clinton well, and so I don't know a whole lot about it other than the pumper was checking the well and was walking up to what he thought was a mushroom, and it turned out to be a skull.
Really?
Yeah. Badly decomposed, no ID. The only thing that I've heard from the news reports is that they believe it is a male.
Yeah.
That's all they have.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Stark County Sheriff's Office is investigating after human remains were found near an oil well in Pike Township near Canton. Sheriff George Myers said in a news release, deputies responded at 11 p.m. Monday, 5200 block of Sandy Avenue Southeast, after a contractor servicing an oil well in the area found the skeletal remains. The remains were badly decomposed, and the Stark County Coroner's Office could not identify age or gender of the deceased. Coroner and the Sheriff's Office continue to investigate. Anyone with the information is asked to call the Sheriff's Office at 330-430-3800. As a reminder, guys, doesn't matter whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, the link to every one of the news articles that we use tonight is in the description for the video. So if you want to go check this stuff out yourself, you absolutely can do that. We use a lot of news articles from a lot of different places, so we want to give them their due, and let everybody know that we pulled these articles off the internet. These are not our articles. So that seems to be the second body found near an oil well or in a rural area in Stark and Carroll County in the last couple weeks, right? Second or third?
Yeah. I think I said somewhere, don't quote me on it, but it was 2 found within a week.
Yeah.
They're not related as far as they know, but
Interesting.
I think people are just kind of getting out now that the weather's finally starting to break, and unfortunately finding things like this.
Yeah, right. All right. So this one is kind of screwy. Madison schools may appeal to the high court over a gun training decision. So what this is about is the Madison school district allowed their teachers to go armed, and there is a training process involved in that particular decision. Now, it's not a state mandated training course when it comes to armed teachers. It's all up to the school board. Now, there's a couple organizations that do some armed teacher training Um, and the thing is, it's really up to the voters and the school board on what they can or cannot do, and also what their training should be. I know, we have kind of our own program for this type of stuff. Covers armed teachers and Sunday school workers and church folks and things like that, and it's kind of all lumped into one. And these training programs are very expensive, and a lot of times are quite significant amount of hours. Well, what's happening here is the Madison schools um, have been taken to court, and they're considering appealing an appeals court decision that would force them to provide police levels of training to armed staffers to the Ohio Supreme Court. So what this is saying is that they were taken to court, and they're being forced to provide police levels as far as man hours in their training curriculum. What we will find here, if we scroll down through this, and this is a long article, so we're not going to read all of it. A couple of points to make. Teachers and other staff are not peace officers and therefore do not require police levels of training. And on the surface, this sounds like, okay, we're not training our armed teachers to the level of police as far as firearm handling and threat detection and conflict mitigation and things like that. But really, when we look at the police training, the standard isn't very high. There's not a lot of that type of training that goes into this. The policy's received a substantial amount of attention. It's just one of the many steps the district has taken to ensure student safety. So the appeals court ruled the district cannot circumvent state law. The express language of the statute does not suggest an intention to allow teachers or staff to carry a firearm while on duty with less training than the indicated in the statute, Judge Robert Ringland wrote for the court. Rather, the plain language of the statute reveal that a board of education may only employ such persons if they have received significant training or have more than 20 years experience. The court challenge came in response to a gun policy that was passed after a 2016 shooting at Madison Junior High. So a group of parents sued the district in 2018 seeking an injunction to block the district from arming teachers and other staff without the training requirement of law enforcement officials. 728 hours versus the 26 hours a school has in its policy. So police officers receive 728 hours worth of training. That's not threat mitigation, firearms handling, shooting, hand-to-hand combat, dispute resolution, anything. That's not 728 hours of total in that. There's a lot of other things that they get, that they should get, that teachers are of no consequence or no use to a teacher. I mean, the teacher's not going to, read the guy his rights and put him in handcuffs. They're only there to defend their students. Ohio requires teachers undergo extensive training before carrying hidden loaded guns in a classroom. As the courts recognize the district's program fails to meet the state's clear requirements, we're pleased today by the ruling. We will improve the safety of students. District couldn't be reached for a comment. Well, the thing is, what they're wanting to do is essentially put these teachers through the police academy. There's no reason for teachers to learn massive amounts of defensive driving, suspect apprehension, different laws, impairment levels, all kinds of stuff that police deal with on a day-to-day basis, and the teachers are only there to protect their students. So their training requirement seems more than adequate to me at this particular juncture. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, a CCW class might be not adequate enough, but maybe once you get through like a defensive pistol or more hands-on training with a firearm, then I see that as being adequate to protect the student.
Yeah, most of these armed teacher classes are either 24 or 36 hours in length, and it is mainly de-arming techniques, firearm handling, safety, um, threat detection, mitigation, um, the partner tactics. What else is in there? Just a bunch of stuff that's useful to them that you know police officers may or may not get in the academy, depending upon which one they go to and how high they go in their training. But I'm not seeing the 728 hours that these folks are wanting to put together with that.
At that point, they ought to just levy for a tax increase for that school district to hire a full-time officer.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do if that's what they're being forced to do. That pretty much circumvents the issue. Although I will say I don't know if one officer, a school resource officer, is going to be able to be effective without some type of backup. I mean, probably more than likely.
With how large the schools are, you'll need 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not enough. And at that point, it's cheaper to arm the teachers.
And I think that's got something to do with it is cost. I mean, and not all the teachers are able or willing to do something like that. And it should be their choice. I've always said it should be their choice on whether or not they're able, they're willing, and if they want to do something like that, it shouldn't be a requirement. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, they have to be comfortable with it. You have to be comfortable with handling a firearm. If not, then they shouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody knows that better than them themselves.
Yeah, they need to make their own decisions. I mean, they're teaching kids, for Pete's sake. They ought to be plainly aware to be able to make their own decisions. So we got Cleveland 19. The Cleveland PD is investigating 5 shootings in 6 hours. Just the headline of that sounds gang related, but I guess we'll see. 5 shootings in 6 hours. According to officers, the first shooting happened at around 7 Tuesday. Final shooting happened around 1 a.m. on Wednesday. 28-year-old man was shot in the thigh at 4500 block of East 147th. Shooter fled in a white Jeep. 9:30, a 17-year-old male was shot in the chest and arm in 900 block of East 147th. He is also being treated at University Hospital. 10 minutes later, 21-year-old man was shot in the back, was dropped off at University Hospitals by a private vehicle. No physical location for that one. 1 a.m., a 19-year-old man was shot in the arm at the 2300 block of Greenvale Road, and a 17-year-old was shot in the leg at West 25th and Seymour. Seems like a bunch of guys running around just taking pot shots at people is what it seems like. Cleveland police said there's no arrests or suspect descriptions in any of the shootings, which is kind of scary. Like, nobody saw anything. Wonder, that's why it just makes me think it's either drive-bys or gang related. You know what I mean?
It almost has to be gang related.
So, once again, even though everybody else is pretty much trying to stay home, the criminals are not. Here's one that hits pretty close to home for us. Pro-gun author targeted for harassment on Facebook. If anybody's ever been around us enough, you'll know that my personal profile has been targeted. Our business page has been targeted. They took away any ability to send any advertisements out. It's just been a tough road, and I think it's probably because somebody keeps reporting us, but we're really not doing anything wrong, so they keep putting it back up. My concern is eventually it'll end, and they'll just take our stuff down, and that'll be the end of it. This is a pretty good article. Once again, I'm not going to read the entire thing, but in this, it says, once upon a time, I had very different views on politics. A couple of books actually helped me change my mind. One was Alice Shugard, but a lesser-known book called Freehold also played a huge factor. Never read those two books. Don't have any idea what they're talking about. The author of Freehold is a man named Michael Z. Williamson. Among his libertarian beliefs, Williams is pretty much a Second Amendment absolutist, the kind of guy who truly believes you should be able to buy a minigun at a curb store. That's part of why I like him, okay? This belief is also likely the reason he's been targeted for harassment on Facebook. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, pretty much every social media platform, Google, they've made it very clear that they do not like the Second Amendment, and they will take action against anybody who challenges that whatsoever. I actually had a phone conversation with a Google Ads representative one time, and I told him flat out that I didn't want his help because he would get my ads working for Google, and then they would stop running them and keep billing me for them, and I wouldn't know about it for months until I went through and tried to test it because of the business that we're in. And he got pretty offended over that, but it's the truth. So this guy's got his own blog. He says, posting links to a very serious publication like Nature or making a political comment is spam. And in the second example, they didn't even tell me what I'd posted that was alleged to be spam. Note that this spam is still pending review 9 months later. This is why I have multiple backup accounts. Yes, that is against their rules. It's happened over 100 times and I've lost count. A lot of us have got multiple backup accounts just for when this happens. So this guy provides screenshots showing what he actually said. It's clear that he's providing a citation for his comment about the Nature article itself. And the thing is, this extends to folks who are talking about non-Second Amendment things, as all they have to be labeled as is a Second Amendment supporter through one of these social media platforms, and anything that you say can be censored or taken down or something like that. I understand Facebook is a private business, but they have to choose between being a publisher or an open forum, and they seem to want the benefits of both. He had a post removed that linked to the Washington Times about a University of Utah professor punished for putting a Second Amendment zone in his classroom in an effort to shame gun carriers. They're legitimate news items and topics for discussion. So what gives? Well, as Williams puts it, my wife, an IT security professional, notes that she stops getting notifications about my posts about 24 hours before these things happen. And we have seen that many times in the past also. Anybody with a Facebook business page realizes that there's, attribution and counters and all of these tools on the back end of it to get your stuff out. And if they decide they want to take action against you, or it's probably more likely an individual that works for this company, your post reach will go down. They will bury most of what you put out there. He says, I have several stalkers. At least one of them works for Facebook in an administrative capacity. They've even blocked me from asking for review, which they can do. Williamson has alternate accounts, something he acknowledges against the site's rules. But since the site also has rules against harassment and those don't seem to be slowing anyone down, he might as well do what he needs to do. His Wikipedia page came under attack as the author of several best-selling books was supposedly not notable enough for them. He may not be alone type of stuff. Fellow Second Amendment author Larry Correia also had something of a bizarre occurrence. Coming off a 30-day ban, Correia was immediately slammed with a 1-week ban. Yeah, I mean, anybody who actually is, tries to follow their terms of service with a business account that's anything but what they view as acceptable takes this kind of abuse from many different areas. As far as our YouTube account, we haven't had too much problems with it, but the Facebook account, Instagram, Twitter, Twitter account's basically shut down. I can't do anything with it. So, and they were really quick. I mean, if you got 100 followers and they pick up on you, and I think it's probably somebody that has known about our business since the start, and they just decided they don't like us and decided they were going to keep reporting our stuff until it took it down. So I think that's what.
There was a somebody posted on one of the groups when you could see who's following you. And so I did it, and I looked on there, and there was well over 100 Facebook bots. They weren't full profiles, and half of the names were tracked.
On our Facebook page?
On mine, I haven't gone through the business page yet.
Yeah.
But because I've faced the Facebook bans, posting pro gun stuff, get locked out for a week at a time.
I found this thing a while back, and I don't remember how to do it, but you went into the settings and you looked for fact checker, and you started blocking the fact checkers, and a lot of it would stop. It would stop and go away because you were blocking the fact checkers. Essentially, they're bots. Be nice if somebody knew how to do that, but I don't know how to actually do that.
I'll play around with the business page after this.
Okay. So we got a Tulsa shooting stopped by concealed carry holder after a crazy lady starts shooting over a blocked parking spot. So this is twice in a week we've seen somebody go bonkers over a parking spot. I think everybody needs to take a chill pill for a minute. With the national attention fixed on the Chinese virus and whether or not our gun stores are going to be open, the national media largely skipped over a story about Tulsa last week. Police report Ashley Porter, 34, was shot and killed by an armed concealed carry holder after she pulled out a gun and started shooting at a small crowd of people. The event occurred around 6:30 p.m. on Friday evening near the medical marijuana dispensary in the 5300 block of North Peoria Avenue. I wonder if that's got something to do with it. The medical marijuana dispensary. I don't know. According to witnesses, Ashley Porter drove up to the location and tried to park her car. Several people were gathered outside the business. One of them, the owner of the dispensary, was talking to a man in a pickup truck. Tulsa Police Lieutenant Brandon Watkins Interesting. That sentence doesn't make any sense. Apparently this Brandon Watkins that set the woman off was related to her parking spot. When it came time to leave, the woman noticed the parked pickup truck and people talking together. It made her angry that the pickup truck was blocking her access. The man visiting with the owner was blocking a lane of traffic in the parking lot, but Lieutenant Watkins said that there was still plenty of room to go around the truck and maneuver in the parking lot. Ashley Porter didn't get out of the car, and nobody walked up to her car, but she did exchange words with the folks standing and visiting. Presumably, when she drove away, everybody breathed a sigh of relief and forgot about her. She came back. She returned 3 minutes later. What's that?
It's premeditated at this point.
Yeah, if she came back. According to witness, she pulled a gun out and opened fire on the people gathered in front of the dispensary. She was targeting the dispensary owner and the man in the pickup truck that had blocked her path in the parking lot. Another man who had been standing nearby saw what was happening and took action. He pulled out his concealed handgun and shot at Ashley Porter before she could kill anybody. The man struck and killed Porter, and she died on the scene. There were no other fatalities. Well, that's good. Man hasn't been identified, but Tulsa police report that he has been interviewed and then released. He will not face charges as he acted in self-defense. Police reported that he owned his gun legally and he has a concealed carry permit. So that's good. I mean, the rest of the article is kind of just a bunch of filler material, but at least, and I'm guessing this is the woman that snapped. I don't know, but thankfully nobody else was really seriously hurt in that particular incident, and why she would come back start shooting a place up over a parking spot is beyond me, but whatever. So we got something here that with this virus taking over the country and bunch of stuff going on, we got a little bit of a lighthearted video. I don't know if everybody's seen this one. This off Facebook. I found this today. Let me see if I can get this thing to. And it looks like this. There we go. Here we go. We're going to replay this. We're going to get rid of my mug. There we go. Okay. So this bear decides he wants to be a highway worker. I don't know if his name's Yogi or what, but his little buddy Boo Boo isn't around. He finds a cone. Cuts the cone up. And away he goes. The cool part about that is I've been down that road. I know exactly where that's at. It's a pretty scenic road. So a little bit of fun for you. Check it out. So now we got a teen wrestling champ body slams a suspect and stops the kidnapping of children. Looks like this dude here, Daniel Beltran, tried to kidnap 3 children at a gas station. The 16-year-old wrestling champ helped stop a kidnapping and assault near Las Cruces, New Mexico by pinning a man to the ground until deputies arrived, authorities said. Mayfield High School student Cannon Bauer was being lauded as a hero after controlling suspect Daniel Arroyo Beltran, 22, of Phoenix. Anna County deputies arrested Beltran Wednesday after witnesses told authorities he tried to kidnap 3 children at the gas station. Mother told authorities she had got off at a bus stop with her children, ages 9, 2, and 1, and was waiting for an Uber driver to arrive when the man grabbed her 2-year-old child and demanded the woman turn over her children. Witnesses told authorities the man punched the woman and others who tried to intervene before the woman was able to rush inside the store with her children. Witnesses said the attacker followed, continuing his demands. Looks like, or sounds like, a mentally deranged individual at this particular time. Punches were being thrown and he could hear screams of terror, so he jumped in his truck and went across the street. Cannon Bauer's dad told Troy Bauer, told the Sun News. By the time he got there, they had gone inside, and so he got out of his truck and went inside. Troy Bauer added that his son told him he body slammed the man and got him in a chokehold until deputies arrived. But Cannon Bauer won the District 3-5A championship in the 285-pound heavyweight division on February 16th and later competed at the state tournament. So this is a quite large young man at 285 pounds. You fear for your own child's safety in that situation, Troy Bauer said. You don't know if this guy's maybe got a gun or a knife. However, he said he was confident his son would do the right thing and succeed. There's no indication in police reports that the man knew the mother of her children. Beltran was charged with battery, assault, child abuse, and kidnapping and remained jailed Friday. Online court records did not list an attorney for Beltran who could comment on his behalf. So, 16-year-old kid. I'll give him a round of applause. Absolute round of applause.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yep.
The fact that he just acted
Sure
instead of
is.
walking away.
Sure is. So, got a couple things for product of the week for you guys, and one of them, one of my favorite products. Real simple. It's a magazine, right? It's the brand of the magazine that the reason I pull this as a product of the week. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this here, but turn it the right direction. Nope. Here we go. Wilson Combat. 1911 magazines. I've got 3 or 4 different brands of 1911 magazines. And what I can say is these Wilson Combat magazines are far and above the other magazines that I got. I have some Pro Mags, I've got some Metal Form Mags, I've got some Kimber magazines, and they just do not work as reliably as the Wilson Combats. And I'm not saying that the gun malfunctions, but what the issues that I see with these a lot, and as I'll try and put this up here, you can see this magazine's it's kind of beat up. The Kimbers are holding up a little better. Base plates aren't quite as bad. But if I can show you this on this Kimber magazine, if you can see that moving, and it's kind of developed that over the years. All the other magazines, if you use them hard, it seems like the base plates fly off the bottom of them, and then the magazine dismantles itself. That's really annoying when you're out on a range, because then you got to go find the parts and try and put the thing back together. The Wilson Combat magazines have never dismantled themselves. They fit well, and I like the follower in them way better. If I push down on the nose of that follower, it does not dive. If I push down on the nose of this magazine, it dives immediately. That's not pushing the rear of the follower down. This one's got a goofy shelf to it. You can see right there, it dives about 1/8 of an inch. Wilson Combat, you push on the nose of that thing goes down immediately. So, if you like shooting your 1911, or carry 1911, Wilson Combat magazines. No, we're not sponsored by these guys. They cost us just as much as they cost you, and no, they're not cheap. I think this is probably one of the more expensive magazines for 1911. Definitely worth it. If you're going to buy a 1911 magazine, buy a Wilson Combat magazine. You can't get a better magazine. So the other thing I got for you guys, and this one's all covered in stickers because it's my personal one, is ammo crates. There's a lot of uses for these ammo crates. This happens to be an ACR 4, and this is kind of my favorite size. They just seem to be, to me, the most useful. 6-7 inches deep, 1.5 across. You can put a lot of ammo in these. Rubber seal. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they do have a rubber seal in there. 2 latches, one on either side. Spot for a padlock on either corner. Heavy duty handles, as you can see. I don't know if you can see, guys can see the wear on the bottom of this thing, but I've had this for a while, and it kind of gets thrown around and beat up. I've got a couple of these things. This one holds a couple of my pistols. I got some foam inside of it. It holds a couple of my pistols. You can see We got some stickers on the front of it here. Got our sticker, Armament and Axes. What else we got here? If you haven't been over to Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, go over and check his channel out. Trigicon Sights, big fan of those. So, good stuff here. What do these cost, Corey? 20 bucks? 15 bucks?
Yeah, 15, 20 bucks. They're definitely worth it. It's just endless uses.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably put rice in this thing and it would keep it dry. I mean, I cannot tell you the number of times that this thing has clattered out of my pickup truck onto the ground full and never a concern about breaking it or what's inside of it. Of course, it's foam protected, but this MTM stuff it's awesome. I mean, when you first go from metal ammo cans to plastic, you think, they're kind of cheap, but they're not really. I don't. You would think that the handles on this thing would bend and the seal would come loose, so you had it full of ammo, but they don't. I mean, these are tough crates. Well, that's what I got for you, product of the week. Oh, Jason Stewart, yes. Yes, the bear does work more than ODOT. Yes, he does. Yeah, these ammo crates do not come open when they're loaded. They positively latch. I don't know if you can hear that. They positively latch.
Pretty sturdy latch. I finally repurposed mine to actually put ammunition in them and not nails and everything else. And I was a little concerned until I dropped one off the top of the safe and it stayed shut.
Yeah. Yeah. That aggravates me, and every time especially with cardboard boxes, because I always seem to have bulk ammo with no separators or dividers. And it just seems like every time I have it in a cardboard box with a range bag or something like that, I'm going to drop it. Either I'm going to drop it out of the truck or I'm going to drop it off the table or whatever. And then I'm 25 minutes picking up 1,000 rounds of 40 off the ground, trying to find them all. And they're stuck in my pickup tire treads and all kind of crap like that. So, and yep. Yeah, absolutely. They are, I just commented, these are made in Dayton, made in the USA, right in Dayton, Ohio. So they are good stuff. Good stuff. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. Unless you got anything else going on, Corey, to mention?
No, we should hopefully have that store cleaned up tomorrow and Sunday, and hopefully be back open Tuesday and back to normal next Friday for next Friday's show.
Yep, hopefully. And I guess we will see you guys next Friday. Everybody out in the comment section, thanks for stopping in and watching. We always like to see you guys out there. You got any suggestions for the show? As always, send us an email, call us on the phone, send up smoke signals. It doesn't matter. You need something? SphoonsCCW@gmail.com. You want to get signed up for a class? SphoonsCCW.com right here. And y'all enjoy your weekend and stay safe while you're out there.